Welcome, everybody, to the offices of Bar 4133. I'm professional wrestler Chris Wilde. This is Eagles news now. I'm doing a quick live stream. Normally, I would be sleeping right now as I work a late shift, but I am getting my second dose of the COVID 19 shot. So I have a little bit of time to burn. And also, I don't know how sick I'm going to be today and tomorrow. So um, I figured that I would go ahead and talk to you guys and get a little bit of information out there. Because again, I don't know. It could be till Saturday before I talk to you guys again. Like I'm one of those guys. If I'm sick, like I don't want to be near anybody. I don't want to be talking to anybody. I don't want to be doing anything. I want to be out. Um, so hopefully that happens. And look, guys, if you look, this is something I didn't advertise. I need to start advertising these live streams a little bit more. It's something I didn't exactly advertise. Feel free to super chat. As any money that is made by this channel goes right back into this channel. As you can tell, I am in dire need of some brand new equipment for the different things that I want to do with this channel, not just on the sports end, but also, as you have noticed, I've been doing some different things, some reaction videos, getting my reactions to music and entertainment. So yeah, I definitely need some new equipment, and maybe Joey B will come through with that stimulus check at the end of the month. What's up, Big Play Say? So there's a couple of I wouldn't call them news, but the Eagles have some things out there. And what's going on, Birdman? And I was going to talk about Brandon Graham, and he's been in the news the past couple days. But this morning on Good Morning Football, which is one of the better shows on the NFL Network when it comes to football, uh, they had Jason Peters on. And what was odd about this interview was Jason Peters was wearing an Eagles sweater. Now, most of the time, these free agents or guys that aren't with the team or aren't going to be with the team, they don't really advertise their former team unless they're a part of the team. I mean, it just everything is calculated in the business of football, you know. So it almost makes me worry that that Mr. Peters might be back. I'm doing okay, Big Place. I hope you're doing well. As you say, you are doing good. Again, I go for my second COVID shot in about an hour and a half. So hopefully I'll be doing okay after that. But in Jason Peters' interview, of course, they asked him about Carson Wentz. And he basically said, it was good on both parties for the trade to happen. And that Carson Wentz. Actually, you know what? We're gonna go to an article that I saw on NJ.com. I'm gonna pull it up here for you guys. And it says Eagles Jason Peters on Carson Wentz trade. Philadelphia is a hard city to play for. Okay. So I'm just gonna skim through this. I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you guys. But this does show that, or does mention him wearing the Eagles sweater. And he says this about the trade. I was surprised. I wasn't super surprised because when they benched him and put Jalen in, things went left. And I always encouraged him and told him, keep working. Everything happens for a reason. Like I said, I wasn't crazy surprised when it happened. But if there was going to be any team that was going to pick him up, I knew it was going to be Frank Reich and the Colts because Frank had him running smoother in the Super Bowl run. And we went and got the trophy. He also says Carson is a great player. Nothing really went wrong on that. He was just in Philadelphia. It's a hard city to play for. They're critical of every play, every inch, every foot. You have to bring it every year or Philadelphia eats you up. Peters also says he was impressed by Hurts' intangibles as a rookie. Two attributes, his leadership and swagger. He comes through the huddle. He demands your eyes, your ears. He's definitely ahead of his time as far as leadership and swagger go. Peters then says, I still got something left in the tank. I can definitely show some of the young boys how to play the game of football. You know the X's and O's, but I want to stay with them after practice and really show them how to play the game. Look, as far as Jason Peters goes as a coach, as a player coach, I'm fine with that, guys. But I don't want to see Jason Peters on the field for the Eagles. He caused so much trouble this year from them signing him because Brandon Brooks goes down. He's supposed to be the right guard. He tells him he wants more money to play there. Okay, that's fine. You're a Hall of Famer. Was he 36 years old? Is he a little older than that? He might. It can't be 39. He's definitely in his late 30s. We all know Andre Dillard gets hurt. He has to go back to the left. Actually, I'm sorry. He asked for more money to go back to the left side, to go back to left tackle and play, which is insane because that's his normal position anyway. But whatever. And he absolutely sucked. He was like a turnstile. Like this, he was the worst offensive lineman that they had last year, in my opinion, except for what was that guy, Javon Brown, who is probably working at Walmart at this point. Birdman, I agree. He would be a great coach. Big Play Slay says, and I kind of agree with all this. Hopefully they don't bring JP back. He's just another old player we keep bringing back, and it's really hurting our future. And I agree with that. And I think that, Peters, look, when Peters wasn't hurt, when he came back, remember Jordan Mailata had, I think it was like 3 or 4 good games against really good defenses, the Steelers, the Ravens, and Doug Peterson puts Jason Peters right back in. He gets destroyed again and eventually is out. But he really, one of and I'm going to do, if you remember during the season I did when the Eagles started losing, I was like, there's got to be silver linings in all these losses. And I started doing a silver linings playlist video with the good things out of the game. And I'm going to do one for the end of the season. I really think one of the topics of that video is going to be Jordan Mailata because with Dillard hurt and Peters eventually getting hurt, Mailata really grew. Birdman says, in his opinion, he would let Dillard go because the word is he can't handle Philly. We don't need any more prima donnas. I agree with that. The only thing here, because I remember Andre Dillard cried in practice. Remember, he cried in practice, like literal tears. And then when he had to play right tackle for a game, he came out with that crazy. I've got a video in the archives. That crazy thing where he said, "Oh, it's like trying to write if you're right-handed, trying to write with your left hand. That's how hard it's going to be." Like no confidence whatsoever. But the thing is, he was a first-round pick, so they're not going to just let him go. But at the same time, nobody is going to trade for this guy. So you almost kind of have to see what you have in him. If he can at least be, at best, a depth piece. I really think Mailata. He showed me something last year. I don't know about you, but he did. He showed me something last year. I was very impressed with Jordan Mailata. So we'll see. I mean, this new coaching staff, Doug Peterson loved Jason Peters, loved a lot of the old guys that got him to the Super Bowl. I know Howard Roseman was a big part of that as well. But now you've got a bunch of new coaches. Stoutland's still there, thank goodness. But you got guys that aren't tied to anybody. Nick Sirianni's not tied to anyone yet. But he's not tied to anybody. So you look at it that way. And, hopefully we see some youth. And like I said, Jason Peters out. Probably one of the best trades the Eagles ever made with Buffalo to get him. But I don't want to see him back. I just don't want to see him back in Eagles green. I don't. And I really think, and this is going to sound crazy, I think the Eagles offensive line, look, guys, you're gonna think I'm a nut. You're gonna X out. You're not gonna watch. When I say I think the Eagles offensive line going into next year could be a strength. It could be an absolute strength. Am I a little optimistic about this team? Always, because who wants to be super negative? I listen to the radio, and some of the fans, I guess, that just try to get the clout, make it their gimmick to be super, super, super negative. And for me, what's the fun in that? So, yeah, maybe I'm a little bit optimistic, but look, you got a lot of guys that got a lot of experience this year. I mean, like I said, you look at Mailata, Jack Driscoll, even though he was hurt for some of the season, he looked promising at times. And what I'm pulling up, I'm not going to pull up yet. Let's go back here. But yeah, he looked real promising at times. Herbig had his moments, bad and good. Sayamalu was up and down, but they all got experience, good reps against good defenses. And look, Brandon Brooks is going to be back. Knock on wood. I think Lane Johnson is going to be back. What's up, primetime? So you got those guys. Like you said, you add a guy in the draft. If Rashawn Slater might be there at 6, that might be a guy you want to get. I mean, again, that's a whole nother video, guys, that we're going to do at 6. Uh, but yeah, the offensive line, they really grew this year as far as, and look, if you look at a lot of that tape, as far as the pass rush goes, and everybody talks about the Indianapolis Colts and how much better their offensive line is for Carson Wentz this year. If you look at against the pass rush, the Eagles were ranked 11th. The Colts are ranked 12th. So, bring up Birdman here again. He says the O-line is 50-50, but you're right. The O-line can hold up. Hurts will flourish. And Hurts, here's the thing with Hurts. Hurts is a offensive linemen are going to love playing with this kid because he can move. He can move around. He's not – look, if you don't see something, he's going to take off. That can be bad and good. But for an offensive line that might struggle, I think they're going to fare pretty well. And look, can you imagine if Andre Dillard for some reason plays well? Or it can be anything. If you can get anything out of him at this point, it's good. So yeah, that was Jason Peters on Good Morning Football. I'm sure there'll be some clips out there soon. There's some interesting quotes. So originally, I want to talk about Brandon Graham because the Eagles are going to be restructuring his contract, and from what I gather, and this is what Howie Roseman does, guys. So the Eagles are in cap hell right now. We all know that. 22 should be better. But they're in cap hell right now. And they've been in cap hell before. I mean, if you remember 2015, Roseman got rid of a lot of big contracts. Look, I hate Howie, so I'm not putting him over at all. But there's one thing Howie Roseman can do is make something out of nothing as far as the money goes. And look, he got him in the hole to begin with some really horrible contracts, including the whole Carson Wentz saga. And I'm not trying to say a lot about Wentz here, but I mean, to take a $34 million cap hit, the biggest in history. I don't even know, was he 1 year into the contract? I mean, it's such an organizational failure. It's insane. But anyway, the Eagles restructured deals. It's kind of just what they do. So Brandon Graham, they're looking to restructure his deal. And he spoke, Brandon spoke to The Athletic. And he wants to stay with the Eagles. Obviously, he doesn't want to go anywhere. And he talked about Wentz and that trade. And I'm going to read a little bit from Bleeding Green Nation. Great website for Eagles stuff, guys. So let's get right to this. Brandon Graham thought the Wentz trade was good for both parties. And that's same as Jason Peters. He says, it's different when it's a franchise quarterback being part of that NFL revolving door. And he says he thinks the move will be beneficial for Wentz. Philly's a tough market and tough place to play in. And so when things weren't going right, I know it was probably tough on him and his family to have to live through that. So it's a breath of fresh air for all of us. He also, and it doesn't say in this link, if I click on this link, it's going to make me want to pay for The Athletic, which I'm not going to do. But he did also say that he thinks Jalen can play and that Jalen needs a full offseason of being the guy without any question. So that he knows, look, this year, this is my shot. I'm going to go all out. But look, the whole Carson Wentz thing, I'm tired of hearing all the fans. It's hard to play for the fans. It's hard to play for Philadelphia. There were no fans in the stands this year, guys. I don't know. Was it just me? I mean, this is a global pandemic. There were no fans in stands. It's not like he got booed out of the arena, the stadium, which is good because, look, the way he played, he would have. Too high up. What's up, man? He would have got booed out, but he didn't. Were the newspapers and the media bad to him? Sure, there were guys like on WIP, like Joe Giglio, who's a clown, and Elliott Shore-Parks, who's a clown, who were burying this guy before the season even started. But for the most part, I mean, there were a lot of Wentz fans out there, myself included. I know people watching my videos now, they must think, damn, this guy hates Wentz. I got a Wentz doll in my bar. I've got all sorts of Wentz memorabilia. But the same thing I said about Wentz when I was building him up, I'm going to say about Wentz now, and it's that the eyes don't lie. Look, in 17, he was unreal. In 18 and 19, he kind of put for the most part of 18, he tried to put the team on his back. It didn't work. Foles came in and took care of business. And then in 19, he had a good stretch, that last stretch against some shitty teams. Birdman makes a great point right here. There was Philly Twitter. So, and I know you're saying that jokingly. if you're Carson Wentz, stay away from it. Shut off what Jalen and it's going to sound like I'm such a Jalen Hurts fanboy, but I swear I'm just look. If he's the quarterback of the Eagles, so I'm on his team right now. But he said, don't eat the rat poison. That's what he remember last year. He's not going to listen to the outside noise. They're going to eat the rat poison. It's all Carson Wentz said to do. Don't eat the rat poison. Yeah, yeah, I got the thumbnail. He needs to get rid of that big Wentz poster in his office. How quick do you think that Wentz fathead got out of Howie Roseman's office after the trade or during the trade talks? Where is it now? It's got to be in a dumpster somewhere in South Philly. I don't know. But yeah, it's just look. If you're going with that narrative that Philly's a tough place to play for, then play better, man. Like, I mean, you weren't even close. Like, it wasn't even close. It wasn't, we gave, and I've done it. Shit, I think on this channel maybe a year ago, I gave Donovan McNabb a lot of shit. We gave Donovan McNabb a lot of shit, guys. I mean, and there wasn't even Twitter then. Could you imagine if there was Twitter when Donovan McNabb was quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles? I mean, we gave Donovan unfair amounts of shit. And this guy, all he did was win. And you look at, well, I mean, he could win the big one, but hey, nobody could until Nick Foles did it. But and you look at the games that Donovan or the guys around Donovan before T.O., man, he had. I mean, we complained about the guys that Wentz has. Okay, the practice squad guys. I mean, does anybody remember Nay Brown or Charles Johnson? I mean, these are the Dietrich Gels. These are the guys that Donovan played with. He got Jeremy Maclin and Deshaun Jackson late in his career. Of course, T.O., I mean, goodness gracious, they could just got along. I mean, oh boy, that would have been change of history of the Eagles right there. He always had great running backs. Again, I understand that. He had Deuce, he had Westbrook, Buck Halter was a hoss. There was also a time where I remember when Deuce was getting hurt and Westbrook wasn't here, and he had Reno Mahe. I mean, you guys remember that. Chris Warren. Does anybody remember Chris Warren? Because I do. He had some decent tight ends. Jim Johnson's defense was always pretty much awesome, even though if you look at that Arizona championship game in 2008, they always gave up a bunch of points there. Against Tampa Bay. I don't even want to bring that game up, but you guys get my drift. Donovan McNabb would have been in the Twitter era, would have been absolutely crucified. Way more than Carson Wentz. And Carson, and I could be wrong, somebody please correct me. Donovan wasn't making as much as Carson Wentz. I mean, correct? Birdman says, any Super Bowl tat yet? Man, it's funny that you mentioned that because, man, in one of the Eagles groups on Facebook, I wish I could give this guy credit. I don't remember. But he had a tattoo of the wing on the side of the helmet on his forearm going down. And it looked, I mean, it was longer, it went down. It looked so badass. And I'm looking into getting that done. And then eventually turning that into a sleeve. I just looked. It just looked so cool. And with me with tattoos, like everything has got to mean a little something. And here I am talking the Eagles in mid-March before a COVID-19 vaccine. They're definitely a important part of my life. So yeah, I definitely I need to. And the Eagle wing is just great. It's just awesome. I like it way better than, even though this is pretty badass too, I like it way better than that. I'm also looking into some new logos here for the channel. Something that involves, I'm not going to give it away yet, but something that involves the old Eagle logo and myself. And just getting ready for the 2021 season and getting ready for the draft. As you guys saw earlier in the week, I did a reaction video to Kyle Pitts. If you haven't watched it, check it out. Look, I don't know what you guys' opinions are. I don't have much time left to go here. Everybody has a wing on his arms. I think that's awesome. I just love it. And so many so many different meanings to what an eagle means, not just to the Philadelphia, but to the country. Um, but Kyle Pitts at 6. Look, at first when I heard this, Kyle Pitts, tight end, the Eagles could take him at 6. I said, what? Oh my God, we will kill Howie Roseman if they pick a tight end at 6. A tight end? A tight end at 6? I'd rather buy a pair of Eagles bookends than a tight end at 6. And then I'd look at this guy. I'd read about him, and I looked at his tape online right here on Eagles News Now, and holy shit, this guy is, you call him a tight end, but he's a wide receiver. And, Nick Sirianni, the Colts ran a lot of 12 personnel. What 12 personnel is, for people watching that don't know, it's 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, instead of the traditional 1 tight end, 3 wide outs, 1 running back. And can you imagine this guy and Dallas Goedert on the field together? And not only that, and look, I didn't want to do a 10-minute me reacting to 10 minutes of highlights, because at that point it becomes it just becomes vague at that point, because look, okay, he can catch, he can run, highlight. But when I dug a little bit deeper into his film, this guy can block too. He can block too. Darren Waller, somebody commented on the site, he reminds him of Darren Waller. I agree. It's kind of a new style tight end that's kind of evolving. We look at the Jason Witten type tight end, have kind of evolved into a Zach Ertz, and which evolved a little bit to Travis Kelce, and now it's getting a little bit different and a little bit, these guys are more athletic. This guy Pitts, man, he's got hands of gold. He doesn't drop the football. He snatches it out of the air. If it's nobody's taking it away from the guy, I could just, and again, to me, this draft is important. I don't want a quarterback at 6. I don't want a quarterback at 6. If they get a quarterback at 6, I'm going to be pissed off. I don't care if the guy ends up being Joe Namath or Tom Brady. At that moment, I'm going to be pissed, because what I think they should do is give Jalen Hurts the year. If he sucks, you're going to draft high again. You're going to draft high again next year. I don't see anybody in the draft besides Trevor Lawrence that is a franchise changer, But again, a lot of people didn't think Justin Herbert was either. So I don't know, but I want somebody that can rather help build the D or help build the offense. And look, the defense is another whole issue, but I really, and thanks everybody for commenting and watching. I just really think that your best bet is best player available, because the Eagles have such holes. Now, I know what you're thinking. You said no quarterback. What if that's the best available? I don't think it's going to be. I don't. I really, and again, I let the cat out the bag. The dude I kind of want to see is Jamar Chase. I would love for him to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Here's Birdman. Birdman's going to step up his channel, waiting on taxes, being a bad year with COVID. Yep. Just lost a family member. Sorry to hear that, brother. And your cousin's still at the hospital. Prayers go out to him. Everybody throw a prayer up for Birdman's cousin. Eagle fans and YouTube are my therapy. So, yes, me too. Doing this is definitely therapy to go on with my regular therapy that I go to, which the Eagles are kind of add to. Too high up says Chase is going with Burrow. Look, you know what? I thought that because why not? It makes too much sense, right? I mean, the two are. They already have chemistry. So if you're the Bengals, why would you not draft Jamar Chase? But then I look at the Bengals and I go, well, Joe Burrow might not be standing upright to get Jamar Chase the ball, because their offensive line is horrible. The Bengals offensive line last year when they played the Eagles, I'm like, man, our D line's going to have like 10 sacks, which they didn't, but they were bad. They got, so what do you do? Do you pick that guy, or do you say, you got what, Penny Sewell or Rashawn Slater? Do you go, man, we need to get one of these guys to a franchise offensive lineman to go with our franchise quarterback? I mean, what makes more sense to me? And this is just me being a fan. I'm sure Bengals fans will feel the same way. I'm going with Jamar Chase because I want to see all those highlights. But at the end of the day, if you get 6 games worth of highlights or 8 games worth of highlights out of Joe Burrow, and then he's hurt and can't play, who's what do you got? Then you got, Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing to Jamar Chase, which might still be good. I mean, but and no, I know he's not a Bengal, but I'm just saying a Ryan Fitzpatrick. Um, yeah, Birdman, I definitely will, man. I definitely tell family hi. You stay safe too, man. Like I said, guys, it's people are starting to get a little crazy because Texas there's no more masks, no more any I think they pulled all restrictions. Philadelphia is starting to let fans into the basketball and hockey games, things like 3,000. But this COVID bullshit is still out there, at least in my opinion. It's still out there. So keep yourself safe. And I think about this with the masks and how much of a pain in the ass it is, right? I can go to the gym and work out in a mask, feeling like I'm gonna pass out. However, my endurance is through the roof because I'm having to breathe with this apparatus on my face. And also, I know that you have to sometimes make yourself susceptible to diseases to fight them, so your body knows how to fight them. But our bodies know have we've had colds since we were kids. Knock on wood on this. This is the first winter I haven't really had a cold. I don't know if it's because I'm wearing the mask, and I'm very careful, hand sanitation. But you got to look at the positive in some of these things. And again, I'm gonna have to leave soon to go get this vaccine, the second part of it, which I heard is just hell on everybody. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I can because you know why? In 6 months, and I'm stealing this. Now, this isn't a I'm not. This isn't a direct quote, but I saw this on at the Mighty E-Rock on Twitter. He is one of the founding fathers of the Fourth and John podcast, and a hell of a guy. Runs some really good tailgates, or used to anyway. He said in 6 months, and he wants to feel that asphalt on his feet. He wants to smell that stale beer and barbecue, and hear that music, and be outside of the stadium tailgating again. And that's what I want. I'm going to do whatever I can to make that happen. I'm going to do my part to make that happen. I mean, it's such just to have that in my life again would be amazing. Okay. What's going on, Evil Eagle? Man, I can't say that 5 times fast if I tried. Jason Vaughn said Peters robbed the Eagles, and Peters is still trying to clown the Eagles. So I don't know, man. Like, I agree. He absolutely robbed the Eagles. That's for damn sure. And Jason Avant has been on a little media tour. He's done some interviews, and he's had some really good insight on some things. Really, really good insight, actually. But as far as Peters clowning the Eagles, like, again, he was wearing a friggin' Eagle sweatshirt on Good Morning Football, which he knows is seen nationwide, one of the most popular football shows. But back to Jason Avant, I'm glad that you brought him up. I was listening to an interview he did, and they asked him like what they thought of the Eagles picking Reagor over Jefferson. Now, obviously, he's got a relationship with Jalen Reagor, so he wasn't trying to down the guy too much. But what he did say was, if you look at Justin Jefferson, he was in LSU. He played against man-to-man in practice, where Jalen Reagor, everyone played zone against them. So, and I thought that was such a good little detail. But yeah, hopefully we can get something out of Reagor this year. Seth Joyner, I don't know if you guys listened to him, said he think it would be ridiculous for the Eagles to pick a wide receiver because they spent such high draft picks on receivers the past couple of years. Dude, there's still a need to me. There's still a need. I mean, I'm going again at 6. Best player that's not a quarterback. That's what I'm going for. If Jamar Chase goes to Cincinnati, Devontae Smith. I know a lot of guys are against him because of his size. Well, I mean, Chad Johnson, I think he was at 172 for most of his career. I think Devontae Smith is 100. Goodness, now I say it, it sounds ridiculous. 165 pounds, maybe 170. But the kid is electric. He's absolutely electric. He's a playmaker. There's no doubt. National championship game, 3 touchdowns in the first half. Jalen, as if we need another one of those. Waddle is another guy from Alabama that I hear that they're bringing the Eagles up. I don't know. At that point, again, you look at defense at Patrick Surtain, the kid from Penn State, the linebacker. The Eagles have so many needs, but again, quarterback. I want to see what Jalen Hurts can do. Look, you put us through the bullshit last year, picking him in the second round. Okay, let us see what he can do. because picking him destroyed Carson Wentz's mind, apparently. So let us see what he can do. Let us see what Jalen Hurts can do for a year. Okay. And look, if we miss out, if Zach Wilson is a second coming, or Justin Fields is a second coming, or Mac Jones, of all people, is a second coming, then okay, whatever, man. Then I guess we missed on them. But what if Jalen Hurts is the real deal? What if he can win you games? If you just build around them, like you should have built around Carson. And again, they tried. They just made all the wrong picks. And again, that's something that's a whole nother conversation we can have. If you trust Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie, because Jeff Lurie has a shitload of impact on who the Eagles pick. But if you let them, if you trust them in picking these picks, I don't. With John Dorsey, I said, when he was still a part of the staff, I went, man. And I know he had some input in Hurts picks. So I was like, damn. But the guy had picked some pretty good players for the Cleveland Browns, and I'm like, I would much rather have his input, or feel more comfortable anyway. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I love the draft. I absolutely love the draft anyway. Hopefully this year's live stream. Actually, I'm telling you, this year's live stream is going to be 100% better than last year's. Last year's was like we were right into the pandemic. I was just learning how to kind of do this, and it was pretty bad. It was a pretty bad live stream. 3 hours of garbage, except for my reaction to Jalen Reagor being taken, because I thought for sure Justin Jefferson was going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. And man, what if he was? Would Carson still be here? I don't know. Would it matter? Or would Jalen Reagor have had a better year because he was in Minnesota with a better offensive line? Speaking of Minnesota, they released the only guy to score a touchdown in the NFC Championship game in 2017, that being Kyle Rudolph, which what that does, guys, is that hurts any kind of, I think, in my mind, that hurts the trade value that Zach Ertz has, because you got a guy like Kyle Rudolph. And look, Zach Ertz to me is way better than Kyle Rudolph. Don't get it twisted. But that's just another guy out there that's free. Delaney Walker said that he did the COVID exempt this season. He's coming back apparently 100% healthy, healthier than he's been in years. So what can the Eagles get for Zach? It'll definitely be interesting to see. It's going to be an interesting offseason. So, and again, there's optimism here, guys. If the Eagles do have a good draft, it sounds like such an impossible thing to do. They got 2 2s this year, right? No, they've got 2 3s. They've got a 2. They've got a 1. They can make some things happen. And if they do, and if this offensive line is healthy, and look, the defense to me, I don't know how the defense can be worse. I just don't. You're definitely going to pick up a better linebacker somewhere. I mean, you have to. Our linebacking core was ruthless in the worst way. Our corners were horrible. So and Jonathan Gannon is a secondary wizard, man. He knows how to, because he was a secondary coach, he knows how to fix a bad secondary. So look for that to improve. Maybe safety help, maybe Malik Hooker. Maybe we can get him for some change to come in, because Gannon revitalized his career. I don't know. But there are signs for optimism. And again, the rest of the NFC East is not good. Washington could be scary if they get a quarterback, but I just don't see that happening anytime soon. Dallas is Dallas. They don't. Dak Prescott wants to get paid like Pat Mahomes. I mean, they're a mess. The Giants are a mess. They just cut Golden Tate, ex-Eagle, today. No, I would not welcome him back here for any amount of money for a 6-pack. No, sir. Would not do it. The Giants could be good as well, but I think they have a quarterback problem too. I think Daniel Jones. I don't see anything when I look at the guy. So, and there's our Eagles. So we'll see what happens. Man, where are we at? How long have I been running my mouth for? It's 34 minutes. So I don't do these middays very often. I definitely appreciate everybody that joined and watched. Anybody that's going to watch this in the future. Again, Jason Peters, Please don't come back. But it sounds like maybe. He weighed in the Carson Wentz saga as well as Brandon Graham, who is restructuring his contract. And I'm guessing the Eagles are going to do a lot of different restructures coming up to get under the cap and possibly have a little bit of money to work with. Fletcher Cox, could that be a restructure? Lane Johnson, could that be a restructure? Basically, they just give the guys the money in the back end. So we'll see, because the Eagles got a lot of work to do, man. And apparently, and I'm going to leave with this, there's like rumors that next week is going to be like a massacre in the NFL, that teams are going to be letting guys go left and right. Some other quick NFL news: Kyle Van Noy, who had a good year last year, was like the captain of the Miami Dolphins defense, got released. Linebacker. I wish we had some money, because he'd be a great addition here. How about J.J. Watt signing with the Arizona Cardinals? I looked at that and I was like, and I liked how he did it. He showed a picture of him lifting with a Cardinal shirt on and said, "Source me." I thought that was pretty awesome. But I'm like, the Cardinals, like, what's so? I mean, okay, Kyle Murray, okay, DeAndre Hopkins, decent defense. Okay, I guess they got a shot, but you're from Green Bay. Why not? Green Bay was in the title game. Why not go there? Play with Aaron Rodgers. Your brothers play for the Steelers. I thought maybe he'd go there, but he picks the Arizona Cardinals. And then I looked at how much they're paying him. With $31 million for what, 2 years? Holy shit. Yeah, sign me up. Sure. Yeah, I love Arizona. Hell yeah. I'll wear all the gear. I'll work out in the gear. I'll jump in the shower with my Arizona Cardinals jersey on and put that picture on Instagram for $31 million. Holy crap. So it just gets weird. It just seems like the NFL gets weirder and weirder, but look, it gives us a lot of stuff to laugh about and have content to talk about. All right, guys, look, I could literally talk for hours about this team. But I'm gonna leave it where it is. Thanks again to Birdman. Big prayers go up to him, dealing with some stuff too high up. Dylan was in here. Birdman, I talked about him, of course. Big Play Slay. You guys are the shit. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And look, send some PVO my way. Positive vibes only as I get this stupid shot. And hopefully it doesn't put me down for the count for a couple days, because time is money. Right. So, yeah, stay safe. Stay healthy. Go Birds. That's the tagline. I'll see you later.